All right, hello everyone. Apologies for the technical difficulties here, but we are in it with the Overwatch semifinals. Missed the first team fight, so I apologize for that. But with me here is JuggleGod. How you doing, Juggle?
I am doing fantastic. So excited to be back. Ready to see what this game has got for us. And Chewy's back on the Pharah. Love to see it. Oh no, yes.
Hey, back to the respawn. Yeah, so far, Uhart is really taking it to post right now, coming in as the undefeated #1 seed. So it is going to be, and we are calling for a pause here, so we'll have a little bit of a breather. Give me a chance to fix my, I think my game volume's a little high here. Let's try that. And then we're going to go to cams here. Yeah. So... yeah, we'll do the intro now since we got a nice pause to start off this one. Sorry about that, everyone. I was having mic issues at the start of this. It looks like we had it looks like someone disconnected, and that was the reason for the pause.
Yeah, I think I saw DC.
But we should be back momentarily. Anyways, yeah, let's go to the bracket here real quick. We take a look. We are in the semifinals right now, the penultimate match of the ECAC Overwatch Division B playoffs here in the Spring 2026 campaign. Post coming in here as the #4 seed, coming off a 3-1 win over Capital Tech last week in the quarterfinals. Uhart securing that 3-1 win over the #9 seed Stockton in their quarterfinal matchup. So both teams with a 3-1 win last week. Uhart has not dropped a match all season long, coming in as the straight undefeated favorites. But whichever team wins will have a really strong shot at winning the championship in the following week. Other side of the bracket is looking a little weird. We've got #2 Williamson versus #7 Malloy. They were supposed to play last week, never ended up actually playing. So they are supposed to play now tonight at 8 o'clock. Not sure what JBU's going to do, if they're either going to play like late tonight after that match finishes and do a doubleheader, or if they're going to, you know, kind of reschedule for later. But that is a problem for the league officials to deal with, not us. But in the meantime, we did our job. We played our match, and so we're playing the Hartford University of Hartford Overwatch 2 team tonight. So I'll go back to cams here. Juggle, what are you looking for out of post today? Pretty convincing win over Capital Tech last week, although there was quite a few moments where Capital Tech got the upper hand. So what do you think Post needs to work on this week?
Well, I think what I want to see from Post is just doing what they know is going to work and what has worked in the past. And if they're having, if they're running into some problems, make those swaps early, right? Adjust early and adjust quickly, and adjust frequently, right? Don't get set on something. Don't dig in if it's not working. So I'm looking for that kind of flexibility, which we've seen out of them before, but I feel like they might have been a little slow last week on that. In addition, I feel like the coming in with some really solid composition picks, right? I think last week when we were watching King's Row, they initially started on kind of a Stigma-based composition, and that one proved to be a little difficult going up against the brawl that the Capitals had. So that's what I'm looking for this week. Otherwise, Post always does great, right? These are small things, but at this stage of the game, it's those small things that are going to make the difference.
Yep, we are back in it here, as KingJackson was the one who disconnected, but he is now back in the game. Post looking to regroup here. Already 50% on the board for Uhart. Starting this one off, Chewy on the Pharah. An interesting pick into the Sojourn from Cobracade. Chewy trying to sneak into the side room here. As Kitsune Rush goes out, only H takes the first kill, gets one on Moridin. Denny with the pulse bomb onto KingJackson, that's going to be 2. Multikel now alone on point, only a matter of time before he falls. Chewy does get 1 in return, but that's going to be an overall team fight win for Hartford.
The silver lining there is they got the pulse bomb out, they got the Kitsune Rush out, right? So Post University not going to have to worry about that, but we are into last fight territory here, so they're going to have to make a big push here. They've got some ultimates online that they can do something with, most notably this barrage.
Yeah, this barrage is going to be super important for this next fight. That's why we're watching Chewy here, see when he's going to pop it. There's the gravity bomb coming out from Rocker Brock, though, and 2 kills already, and then the beat drop to kind of secure. Yeah, not much doing there with the Vero ultimate, and that's going to be a clean final team fight there for University of Hartford. The 100-0 on point 1. Li Zhang.
Yeah, great heads up coming out from the Zarya on Hartford squad. You know, that that Graviton Surge can take a while to build, right? And especially when you're playing a control point like that, you really might only get one. So saving it to kind of secure the team fight and the map win, great play right there. Not a whole lot Post University could do about that. Chewy did everything they could to touch point, wasn't quite enough, but we're to a new map. We're at Control Center. Chewy's got VAR is very difficult to play here, so I like the fact that we're seeing Bastion. Maybe this extra chunk of damage coming in can get the job done. In addition, not going to be as big of a target for Cobra Kid, so I like what we're seeing here so far. I think KingJackson still on the Lucio is good. We also have to take into account that there wasn't a beat drop, right, from KingJackson because of the DC, so that's going to be a pretty big difference here, too, in favor of Post University.
Yep, that is true. Multikel sticking with the Junker Queen. Starting this one off as Post trying to loop around to the right as his full team. There's the Shout, gonna try to engage off of this one, and just like that,
huge.
Rocker Brock goes down. They split off from the rest of the team, and now Post get a knife. Great knife there from Multikel, and Ariel is going to go down to Chewy's barrage, and Post will get their first percentage points and win their first team fight of the match.
This is exactly what we wanted to see here. Very decisive, very quick death ball composition, right? You get Chewy coming in with those big guns, Moridin as well. There's not a whole lot that's going to stand in your way, especially Zarya, who really doesn't have a whole lot of staying power, a whole lot of defensive capability. You can get through one of those bubbles pretty quick. Looks like we're going to be able to trade here in just a second, but already 2 down.
Yeah, 2 for 1 as Hartford recaptures the point. Make it 3 for Cobra Kid. Make it 4. Nobody contesting the Sojourn up on the high ground over there. Post has got to deal with him.
That's true. You know, where's the focus got to be, right? Do you go for Cobra Kid or do you go for the tank? Either one is going to be great, but you might actually need to get both. I'm going to be looking to Vero for being possibly the person that takes them out. Oh, big pulse bomb.
Yeah, nice stick there by Daniel onto Chewy. Now Post's going to have to wait a little bit for Chewy to regroup with the rest of the team. Daniel, and this combination of Daniel and Cobra Kid really messing with Post right now. They have a Tracer on one side and a Sojourn on the high ground on the other side, and making it really tough for them to deal with.
Moridin might just want to stick with the rest of the group here, right? Just check the flank and make sure you've got that damage right up there up front.
Here comes the Chewy ultimate from Bastion, though. Babysat by Vero. Doesn't find any kills, but does force them off. Getting a little bit of positioning. Post will recapture the point, but will they win the fight? Doesn't look like it. 2 kills already for Hartford. Multikill getting low. There's 3, and now it's cleanup duty for Hartford, as they will take it back. But a few more percentage points on the board for Post, but still pretty good control for Hartford, although a slight ultimate advantage for Post coming into this next fight.
Yeah, having this Kitsune Rush could be pretty big, especially considering we've got several players who are close to their ultimate. So look to Multikill to get theirs about halfway through here. The Graviton Surge could be a big deal, though.
Yeah, there's the Graviton Surge right there, and then Post just can't even exit spawn. Luckily holding on to the Kitsune Rush, though. And this will be huge for the next fight, but so far it's been all Hartford. Just maybe that first team fight win going over to Post, but other than that, Hartford has not looked back once.
No, they haven't. But again, I think the fact that Post University was able to get that percentage on there, that's what's allowing them to have this full team fight right here. And that's big. Moridin onto the main.
Wow, Kitsune Rush goes out. Post's last-ditch effort here. Chewy gets 1 in return. It's a 4v4 on the point. All the ults going down. Vero, 3 health, finally falls to Cobra Kid. Chewy falls next, and now it's cleanup duty once again for Hartford as Multikel, the last player left alive. He's got no supports to keep him up, and that will do it. Hartford will take map 1 with a quick 2-0 on Li Zhang.
Yeah, Hartford's looking very, very strong right here. And I think one of the things that maybe is throwing Post off is they're getting picks very quickly, right? And we haven't really seen that happen to Post University so far this season. So that's definitely an adjustment that Post is going to have to make. It looks like the DPS are just ready and waiting to go and ready to get those picks from the moment Post University is coming out of spawn, right? So I think they're going to need to make sure that they're checking their flanks, right? Especially for Daniel on that Tracer. And in addition, making sure that they're using natural cover to make sure that they're staying out of the sight lines of Cobra Kid. Otherwise, I think Post University has what they need to do to take this series, right? They've shown that they can roll over the tank, right? They can. They've shown that that's not going to be an issue necessarily, right? They just need to make sure they stay alive. If they can stay alive long enough, they can get the damage in on who they need to and take some fight wins here. So that's, I think, the big job that Post University has ahead of them here. I like the swaps that we saw coming out. Especially yeah, that Bastion pick, I think, from Chewy was
Mm.
great. Moridin tried to flex over to the May. I think that was also another solid choice there because, again, you're going for survivability here. Yes, Reaper does have it, but May has more. Um, in addition, Vero got a couple of picks. I mean, Vero hit that headshot on Daniel on that Tracer, so we know
Yeah.
Vero's capable of kind of checking those flanks, right, and helping keep her and KingJackson on the back line alive. They've just got a lot that they're going to have to do here tonight, and they're going to have to do it perfectly because University of Hartford is not going to give them any room to mess up.
Yeah. KingJackson did also disconnect at from the lobby after that match concluded. So, in addition to the pause earlier, he may be having some additional connection issues. So, we'll try to figure that out. We do have subs available if needed. So, it's not like we'll have to forfeit or anything if he can't get back in. But
yeah.
Definitely not what you like to see. It's really unfortunate. It's a bad distraction, when one of the teams is dealing with that, because you need everybody to be like locked in and having no distractions, especially in such a high stakes match. So yeah, that's really unfortunate. Hopefully he gets back in and has no more issues, but. We'll see. Next map is going to be King's Row. It was Post University's pick, and they banned Lucio. Hartford countered with a Farah ban. And we are going to be getting a substitution for Post. Jojo is in, and KingJackson is out. So King's going to have at least one map here to try to hopefully deal with his connection issues. He is not playing from our esports lab right now, so unfortunately there's not much I can do to help him out. He is... playing virtually today, but we'll see. Hopefully he can get it resolved, but this is why you have subs. This is why you train up, 6+ players for this exact reason, right? So,
and there's plenty of depth in the support line too, right? I mean, Jojo and Mooch. And I feel like Jojo also is going to be able to kind of fill the role that KingJackson was on the Lucio, right? Because Jojo's great, I believe, on the, oh my gosh, I'm completely blanking on the hero's name now. Juno.
Yeah, she plays a lot of Juno. She plays a lot of Kiriko. She can fill in. I don't think she plays as much Lucio, but
no, but the kid is kind of complementary with Juno, right? You're still going to be able to get that speed boost, which is a big thing, and you do kind of have some of that sustain that sound barrier provides as well. Now, it's not going to be quite as much, but when you're looking at a more linear map like King's Row, right? The fact that orbital ray kind of moves forward, that's still going to give you a lot, right? In addition, it's going to give you a little extra punching power too, right? So there's trade-offs, but I think that it's a great way to kind of mitigate what Post University is losing by not having KingJackson in this map. I also really like the Lucio ban, right? If you don't have KingJackson in right now, ban the Lucio so it can't happen in the future, right? I think that was a bit of a protect ban from Post University, and I really like it.
Yeah, that's possible. Again, I'm not in chat with the team here, but oh, look at me moving the camera around, but you guys can't even see it. There we go. We're in game now. We're in King's Row. I'm flying the camera around, and it's still on our faces like, whoops, yep, there we go. Yes, but we are here at the iconic King's Row, one of the first maps ever introduced in Overwatch, one of the first hybrid maps introduced. But here we go. Host's going to be starting on attack here. Chewy hovering the Widowmaker to start things off. I always love to see that.
Yeah, you got to look for that, one quick pick, right? I mean, we saw how impactful one pick was on Control Center, right? In our last map, as soon as Post University got one, they were able to roll in and take control of that point. So, yeah, if Chewy can open it up here, that could be fantastic for Post University. But this I think is going to be really telling, right? How Post University does on this first attack. They, if we can get to streets, you can usually get to third, right? Streets is one of the quickest places that you can capture, right? It's very, very attacker sided.
Yeah, Chewy looking for this first pick. Getting some damage out onto the support, but not enough to get the kill. King still trying to connect in the background. Yeah, can see the swap.
Poor King.
Double hit scan coming out here for Hartford. With Sojourn Ash combination. Moridin getting up onto the point though. Realis with a kill onto Multikel. And Moridin falls soon after. Chewy gets one back on the Widow, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for to win them the fight. And yeah, we may see the Chewy swap here.
I think it was good though. One of the things that we can say is that the spawns are certainly in Post University's advantage. Now, whether or not it's so far an advantage that Daniel won't get back to the fight in time is another question, but there's certainly an opportunity here.
Multikel on his patented Ramatra. Broke multiple records last week on the hero. We'll see if it comes back again. On this map, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. It was on this map. That marathon of a map we had.
Yes, it was. The remake as well. Chewy gets the final hit there onto Rocker Brock, and that's going to be tanked down. But Hartford's still sticking around. They don't want to give up the point quite yet.
Yeah, but this is going to be good. They're at least going to be able to get a couple of ticks here. But look for the last moment contest, right? There might be time efficient since it's JQ, and JQ can kind of get out of spawn quickly. But no, it looks. Oh no, we do have the last moment contest. Is it going to be enough though?
Not enough. Yeah, just stalled for a couple seconds there. Chewy with another kill onto Daniel though.
Oh, huge. This is that adaptability that Post has, right? We can see that you take that first L, you take that L on that first map, but it doesn't really seem to have slowed them down here much, right? That's a very good cap time for first point here.
And now with the Widowmaker ultimate, Hartford's not going to want to peek out of the corner here. And that wall from Moridin. Oh, and there's the headshot. Wow. Oh, there make it two from Chewy on the Widow, getting one support and one DPS down, and now on the flank, he's got it again. The side of the head on Daniel. Chewy is unstoppable right now.
That was massive. Now, I want to go back and talk about the fact that, there was something Chewy did there that was very, very intelligent. That was using those sites, right? Not only because, of course, it's a great ultimate, right? But because what it forced is it forced Hartford not to push forward and go for an Arches hold, right? Nobody's going to want to show their head, and that Arches hold is one of the strongest ones you can have on the streets of King's Row. So that bought them pace in a huge way.
And we see the Diva swap coming out as well for Rocker Brock. But Bob goes down. That's pretty big. Good job by Post to deal with them. Daniel on the left-hand side here. Kind of a lone little... Finally, Diva comes in there, and now it's going to be double Kitsune Rush from both teams. Chewy in the 1v1 with Daniel close up, and Daniel wins that one. Moridin popping the Blizzard. Chewy gets one back with the trap in the back line. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. Moridin trying to hold on here. Multikel is going to... He wants this. He's popping the ultimate. 3.28 meters to go till the next checkpoint here. And neither team wants to give this one up.
No, this is going to be real hard fought here, but Diva's proving problematic right now. Big flank in the back line, but Vero's going to find him with her head.
Cobra Kid, yeah, that's a 1-for-1. Still no clear winner on this fight. Multikill, good use of the barrier. Moridin helping out with the wall. That's going to block off Rocker Brock. He's going to have to try to fly over it. Wall goes down, and there's no heals for only H on Kiriko. Falls. Moridin finishing the job, and that is going to be a team fight win for Post University.
That was fantastically done right there. I'm getting flashbacks to last week, right? When we saw Chewy just not dying on the very end of King's Row, right? When they were on that bastion, right? Same kind of thing here with Multikel. Just never say die. They made it work.
Yep, but now we see the Chewy swapping to Genji. Only one ultimate online for both teams. It's Rocker Brock's self-destruct, so we'll see how much of a difference that makes in this next team fight. As Rocker Brock getting walled off again, but good job using the Diva to just fly right over that wall.
Yeah, the one thing Moridin's really going to have to watch out for is they want to make sure this defense matrix is down, or That even better. Rocker is out of the mech.
Out of mech,
right?
yeah.
Ooh, Chewy.
Yep, Chewy gets taken down by Daniel. Rock finds one, and again with the remech. And so this is going to be a team fight win going over for Hartford. And they will stall out the cart with a little under 3 minutes to go for Post to get this last capture point.
Plenty of time, especially considering how far Post was able to push that in that last fight, right? I think one of the things that's really working in Post University's favor is Hartford is just giving up a lot of space here, right? And it's because they're trying to survive under the onslaught of damage that's coming in. So again, we've got this Blizzard online. Post University might want to play this a little bit slow so that they can get Jojo's or Vero's Kitsune rush up. Massive pick from Chewy.
Yeah, Chewy with the early pick onto Daniel. It's a 5v4 now, and there's Kitsune rush. Post wants to end this right now.
Kitsune rush in response, but D.Va's going low.
Moridin popping the Blizzard. Finally, Multikel with another kill. They still got to deal with this D.Va on point. Finally gets out of mech here.
Oh, huge ult coming out from Jojo. That's going to make it very hard for Cobra K to hit those headshots.
Oh, there's a Curie in the back, though. They don't see. Finally goes down. Only H getting two. Daniel with another one. Post trying to get it the last few meters, but they're not. They might not.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, they do. Oh,
they
my.
Got it. They got it.
Oh, that might have been a little bit of a C9 from Hartford. I couldn't quite tell. But Post somehow survives that.
Yeah, no, I think they were able to get that kill in the nick of time before the D.Va was able to touch point. But I mean, that was close. That was so close, and huge. 142 is a great time bank to have for yourself. Now, this is where we saw Post University kind of stumble. I feel like last week, and that was on defense on King's Row. So what I would love to see here is them really anchor down. If they can burn off a lot of time on that first point, they can put themselves in a great position to succeed, right? Because again, once you get to streets, that goes kind of quickly. But one thing Post has learned over the years as well is just how strong that Arch's hold is. In fact, I believe we even saw them do that last week. So that's what I'm going to be looking for here on this defense is if they lose the point, right, how are they going to regroup afterwards? And I would love to see them, if it happens, to get that Arch's hold, because they could burn off the whole clock right there, right? They could easily burn off the whole clock right there.
Yeah, the getting past that choke is going to be huge for Hartford here on offense. And Post had a really good initial team fight on the first point there. Once they just took out Rocker Brock pretty much right away, and then the rest of Hartford just kind of had to retreat since they didn't have a tank anymore, and basically just gave up the point for Post with just relinquishing a single kill. So they were really banking on that Arch's hold, and then they just weren't able to get back in time because Chewy just started lighting them up on the Widows. So let's see if Cobra Cade can return the favor in kind, but it looks like we might have a quick swap, just swapping right away to the Sojourn, just looking for that initial pick, and wasn't able to find anything, so.
I think that, you bring up something I think is really Post University needs to focus on as well, and that's that if Hartford loses their tank, they seem to kind of fall apart. Right? I haven't really seen them have the resilience to kind of come back from a fight when their tank is down. So I think Post University knows this, and I think they're kind of playing to it. But if they don't, they certainly need to focus on that moving forward. But already they've burned off almost 45 seconds. This is great.
Nice shots by Chewy,
massive.
sneaking into the back line, taking out one of the supports on the M-Ray, by the way, a new hero that we haven't seen so far this match yet from Chewy.
And Post University is doing a good job of kind of flipping the map here, right? This is something that I know they've been practicing a lot, and it certainly paid dividends because Chewy could have gotten in a lot of trouble there, right? If that was a solo flank. But the rest of the team was there, and so they were protected.
Now Rocker Brock getting aggressive in the back line, gets the support that he needs from his Kiri, and that will probably be the initial team fight win that Hartford was looking for, as everyone now on Post going down. And a little bit slower, but they do get the first point capture, Juggle.
They sure do. I think Post University had a great hold right there, but what Hartford did really well there is they recognized that there was a bit of an overextension, right? I think Multikel overcommitted just a tiny little bit, but again, Post University, I think they know that they can get an Arch's hold here, and so I'm hoping that's what we're going to see them try, especially considering we've got Moridin on the main.
Yeah, Moridin loves this stroke,
big wall,
and that's a great wall. Rocker Brock getting some good heals, though, from his supports as Daniel finishes the kill on Moridin, and now it's a 5v4. Chewy on the flank. That's tough, though, with a very low mobility hero, unless you're talking about his ultimate from Emre. Only H gets another, and now Multikel in full retreat mode. Almost has that ultimate online. Post may look to try to hold before this next checkpoint. But things not looking good for the Eagles right now, with almost 4 ultimates online for Hartford.
I mean, Post actually has 5, so this, you know, the big thing is, though, right, if they use them, they need to make sure it's economical, right? So I'd like to see, actually, potentially even Vero hold. No, but they're going to go ahead and use that huge initiation, too.
Yep. All the ultimates going down. Double Kitsune once again. CobraCade gets the first kill here of the fight. Daniel getting a second. Multikel getting stunned up, and Post just cannot find the kills that they need in these team fights. Chewy finds one with the override protocol, but not going to get much else.
And again, I think the silver lining there is that both Jojo and Moridin held onto those ults, and especially Moridin can chew, you know, you could chew through a lot of time with that one. The question is, are they going to be able to get there? And actually, I think they will. The card is far enough behind, but it's got to be close.
Also, I want to apologize to the stream. The teams should need to be flipped on the overlay. I was having some issues earlier, and kind of forgot to check that, but do get a touch from Moridin. 0.82 to the next checkpoint. Post trying to stall here. Multikel doing his best, getting a lot of damage down, but no kills, 1 for 1 so far. Couldn't quite finalize that kill on the Wu Yang. But now, the Hanzo caught in the back line. He goes down to Multikel's fists. Make it a double kill, and now Aurelius in retreat mode. But Rocker Bra comes in and gets that kill onto Multikel. Now Moridin just trying to stall. This could be a really long, drawn out fight win for Hartford if they're able to. Moridin gets the ice block back, though, and stalls long enough for Multikel to almost get back. CobraCade gets the kill onto Vero, but it's still 0.36 meters away. Post is still holding strong. That may do it, though, as CobraCade with another, and Multikel just going to try to die on point, as that will finally tick over to the second capture point. And now, a little bit, about 2 minutes on the clock here for Hartford to match Post's push.
Yeah, and I think the another silver lining here is Post University had more time on the clock when they got to this point, right? So as long as Post University can continue to do what they've done before, which is just burn off a little bit more time than Hartford, things are going to be looking good for them. But I imagine we're probably going to be seeing around 3 and 4 here.
Moridin getting very low, forced to ice block early. Multikel has the ultimate online. Does he decide to use it? There's the Kitsune. Daniel gets a kill onto Vero, though, right away. Rocker Brock gets another one with the Rampage, and Daniel with 2 more. This could be the push that Hartford needs.
Post University going to have to be really strong coming out of the gates here. Chewy, fortunately, is going to have this blade online. Hopefully, they're going to be able to get to point and use it first, but somebody's going to have to touch here. There's only a moment to go. Jojo's down. We do get 1.
Wow, but everyone just dying before they can even get out of spawn. Multikel can't touch in time. And about a little less than 1 minute faster push by Hartford.
Yeah, that they had a lot of momentum going into that last into the last point. It might have behooved Post University just wait a little bit on that third point, right? To not push in quite so quickly. But I think one thing that we should talk about is the fact that Moridin's Blizzards, while they're normally very, very effective, I think Hartford is doing an amazing job of playing around them, right? I haven't seen really hardly anybody get caught in a blizzard. I don't know if I've even seen anybody get killed by them, right? So, Post University might want to reevaluate exactly how they're using those blizzards. You know, maybe they need to be a little bit more aggressive with it, maybe a little bit more defensive, but it seems as though they're splitting the team, which is good, but nobody's getting caught by them, which is a little bit of a problem. So maybe focusing a little bit less on, like, you know, looking for kills within the Blizzard, because I feel like I've seen maybe Multikel or a couple of others kind of doing that, and then just focus on the fact that, like, no, the team is split, you know, nobody's frozen, but we can still get those kills if we just focus on, you know, one half of the team.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or they could lean into it and, you know, just simply use it as, like, a displacement and separating the team, which is what May is already so good at. But yeah, you're right, that primarily is used to get kills, especially on the tank, because you know where he's going to be. But Chewy, I want to point out, swapping to his patented vendetta, so I want to see if this ends up working out for Post. Checking this high ground here for anything cheeky from Hartford. Moridin already forced to go into Daniel, by the way, swapping to the Reaper as well, I want to point out, as Chewy going in deep onto these supports. Getting a lot of damage down, but not quite able to find the kills. Daniel getting 2 on the Reaper.
Oh, that's big.
Moridin gets 1 in return, but that's not going to be enough for Post to take the first point. But if they're fast enough, they might be able to beat Brock back to the point here if they start a fight immediately.
Yeah, I think there's a strong chance that they can, because Brock, instead of being on that JQ like they were last time, is on the Zarya this time around, right? So that means they're not going to necessarily have the speed that you can get with the JQ.
Yeah, Post's a little bit slow, though, and they're not able to make it back in time here before Brock gets back. And, yeah, just like that, they're going to fall. 40 seconds to go now. This is approaching final fight territory.
It is enough time, though, for a full team fight, and I think that's the silver lining again here. But it's gonna be, there's only gonna be one player with an ultimate online, and that's gonna be Daniel. So Post University needs to be really aware of that, especially Multikel. Want to make sure that they've got some bubbles saved. We can already see that Daniel's staging here for a Death Blossom.
Yep, Chewy getting very low, gets the bubble from Multikel, but will it be enough? Here's Daniel in the back line, gets the bubble from his own, gets cut off by the wall. But can Post capitalize? There's finally the Death Blossom. He gets Chewy with it. That might be all that Hartford needs. Yeah, that's going to be all that Hartford needs. Gets the second kill, both DPS down, and that's going to be a clean hold in round 3 by Hartford.
Yeah, a little bit of rough running it back there for Post University. And I think, again, what Hartford did was they played very aggressively and very forward, right? They didn't even let Post University approach the point. It seems as though when Hartford is able to take those fights kind of to Post University, Post is really struggling with it, and Hartford's finding a lot of success. So I think maybe, again, a little bit more checking your planks, checking your angles, could help Post University find what they need. Because you can also look at it as the potential for Post University to find somebody overextending, right? And if you can do that and punish them for it, then you can find a lot of success. I mean, we did see that to some extent, right? Where Post University had a great wall to try and trap the Reaper, but instead of everybody kind of like turning on the Reaper and taking them out, instead they let him go, and then he was able to get back with a Death Blossom. So I think maybe a little bit more concerted effort to kind of punish when the flankers are caught out could mean a lot of success here. So Post University now, they've got to try and hold this as hard as they can. They've got the heroes to do it here. They've got the sustain that they need, right, in the Bastion, in the Mei, in the Ramatra even. So as long as they can hold off for 2.5 minutes, well, this is going to be a draw.
Yeah, it's the best the Post can hope for at this point. Let's see if they can pull it off. They'll need a perfect hold for 2.5 minutes.
Ooh. Going right back to the Sojourn.
Daniel getting very low, has to Wraith form already. Now Chewy in that bullet mode. Laying down the damage. Post doing a good job so far, but Hartford just, you get the sense they're just buying their time, waiting for an opening. Daniel getting chunked down pretty low again, as well as Aurelius. Oh, and Chewy with the final hit as well. That's massive for Post. And now Brock gets taken down as well. And this Hartford team is very split. If Post plays this well, they could force a lot of time off the clock here.
Oh, yeah, the fact that the carry decided not to... well, they did just drop and die on point. But still, those kills were very staggered, right? And that is absolutely going to benefit Post here. And I think another thing is, look at the ult percentage for Daniel. Daniel's only sitting at 27% at this point. So I think Post University has figured something out.
Yeah, meanwhile, Multikel over halfway to his, so Hartford may be looking to just simply get in here and try to look for any weaknesses in Post strategy and then come back for another team fight. But of course they want to close it out here. Only H needs to teleport away from Multikel, as Hartford looking to try to flip the map here. And Post happy to respond in kind. Daniel getting very low, gets the bubble and Wraith form, gets the heals.
Yeah, they're going to be vulnerable now, but there's a lot of heals coming in as well. Oh,
Overcade takes down Moridin, that's huge, but Rocker Brock very low. Jojo in the back trying to deal with Daniel, is unable to as Vero falls. Kel gets one back and gonna pop the ultimate. This is the last stand for Post. Can they do it?
oh.
It doesn't look like it. Vero and Moridin back in spawn, and that will do it. Hartford wins map 2, 4-3.
That was really close, though. I think that
Very
there was,
close.
yeah, very, very close. I think, but again, that's kind of how it's going to go when you're looking at two top-ranked teams in this league and in this bracket. So, um, yeah, I want to kind of harken back to what I was saying before about just taking the time to punish these mistakes that Hartford is making, right? And I think to kind of take that one step further, I think there's been a couple of instances where if the focus hadn't switched, then the kill would have come in a little bit sooner. And I'm not even, and again, I'm not even talking about necessarily the mistakes, right? Like punishing those. I think it might be simply, just finding somebody low, staying on them until they're dead. Because I think the Reaper, I don't think they went down again, Daniel, on that last fight. But I think the opportunity was absolutely there. So maybe just a little bit more focus fire and a little bit more follow through on trying to get some of these kills, right?
Yeah, there was a point there where he had no Zarya had no bubble to give him, and he had no Wraith form.
Right.
And then he got healed back up, but then everyone just kind of had to deal with other threats, right? Like, Kale had to turn around and deal with somebody in the back line, right? And they just weren't able to kind of finalize that kill on the Reaper, and I think that's kind of what came back to bite him. But we're taking a quick pause here. Going to be a 5-minute timeout, bio break, etc., while the teams kind of get ready for map 3 here. Post looking to avoid getting swept, and Hartford looking to close it out in 3. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. It is map 3. We're going to New Junk City. And Hartford is up 2-0. Post's going to need to start the reverse sweep magic right here, JuggleGod. This is their last chance to extend the series and put us into map 4. Hartford looking to close it out right here and get to the finals in a clean 3-0. Let's see if they can do it.
All right, yeah, Post University certainly got their work cut out for him, but resilience is definitely the name of the game here, and that is something Post absolutely has in spades. So, looking forward to seeing what they've got in store for us here. Now, one thing to know about the Flashpoint is that these points take over very, very quickly, right? So, Post University, I want to see them get those kind of quick fight wins in the neutral that we saw them get, you know, like early on Control Center, right? And that they certainly showed us that they could do during King's Row. So, now's the time to make it happen.
Kel on the Junker Queen. And Rocker sticking to the Zarya for the tank picks. Also, Jojo on Mizuki. We haven't seen too much of the Mizuki from her this season, so we'll see how that works out.
I think one thing that the Mizuki really brings is just a phenomenal defensive ultimate, right? So I'm hoping that we're going to see some success there. Big pick right off the bat.
Yeah, good job by Moridin getting that final hit with Kel onto Daniel, and that's going to leave it open for Post here in the 5v4. Let's see if Hartford relinquishes. Yep, Post will capture first here, and Hartford doesn't want to give them too much ultimate charge and just kind of running into them. So they're content to kind of wait until Daniel makes his way back. He is back now.
Yep. Hard.
Yeah, no Wraith form though. Let's see if Post goes on. Knife lands onto Rocker Brock, and now everyone taking tons of damage. Daniel trades one back though. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Fight on two fronts. No Wraith form once again for Daniel, and he gets taken down, but he gets Chewy in return. Cobracade with another. Post has got to deal with Rocker Brock as he gets the kill onto Multikel, and now Moridin the last alive, and he will fall, but 4% on the board for Post.
I think that's a great first showing here from Post University, and I think they did exactly what they needed to do, and that was like punish these overextensions, because that's what they're really starting to look like from Hartford, right? We saw Rocker get out there without any bubbles pretty far, and while they didn't fall, other people did because of that. So, Post University just needs to keep capitalizing on that. And I've also got to say, I think I've been a bigger fan of Post University's tank picks just in general in this matchup. So leveraging that can be big.
Oh, wow. The big gravity surge there by Rocker Brock, and it gets one kill for Hartford, but Chewy trades one back with a pulse bomb. Jojo getting very low, gets the heals, but still advantage Hartford here. Rocker Brock with another one onto Jojo, and this could be fight win to you, Hart.
Yeah, Vero and Jojo might have hung around there a little bit long, but Post University definitely still going to get another full fight here, right? So we can see the spawns have already come in. Now, the big thing they're going to want to do is they're going to want to capitalize on either this ultimate from Multikel or from Moridin. Unfortunately, Lucio doesn't quite have the beat yet, but it's close.
Oh no, Moridin can't get the block out in time and just falls immediately. And now, Chewy, the only DPS alive for Post. Daniel gets taken down by Chewy, though. The Rampage comes out from Kel as well, but the beat drop may be too much for Post to fight through. And it is. That is going to be point number 1 going over to Hartford.
Right, so there's so little separating both of these teams right now. You know, I think just one pick a little bit sooner for Post University could have been the fight win there, could have been the cap, could have been the point. So now, moving into this next fight, right, Jojo's going to have their ultimate online. That's going to be a nice defensive thing, especially if Cobracade decides that they want to use his Deadeye, right? That could give a lot more staying power for Post University here. In addition, Chewy gonna have a pulse bomb as well. So if they find a nice flank with a nice target, that could absolutely open a fight up.
Sune Rush going out here. Vero getting very low, getting the heals. Multikel getting right up in Rocker Brock's face here. 1-for-1 so far. Knife lands, but Kel unable to follow it, but great shots.
Nice.
Getting another one. Moridin now very low, trying to hide behind his wall here. Chewy with another one with a great pulse bomb. Daniel gets one back. This is still back and forth. That's a great knife, though, and Multikel will finalize that kill. 21% on the board for Hartford, but Post retakes the point.
Multikel's knives are just insane. Like, I would hate to be going up against those. I mean, hitting a Kiriko with one of those, incredibly difficult to do. Huge plays that are coming out. Chewy hit the pulse bomb, which they needed to do. Both teams coming in a little bit low here, but again, we've got the Graviton Surge that we have to watch out for. Maybe Vero can help with that.
Daniel gets one off the rip onto Chewy in the Tracer duel, but a great Mizuki ultimate is going to help them survive against the Deadeye. Moridin gets one back. It's a 4v4 on the point now, but Jordan falls. Rocker Brock taking them down. Moridin gets another Cobracade, and now Multikel. Can he survive on the point? Gets another kill, but down to 70 health and will finally fall. Chewy trying to get a few more percentage points on the board for Post. They can't kill him. Finally take him down. Chewy by himself getting an additional about 10 percentage points for Post. Gonna get this into final fight territory if Post is able to retake the point. Great job there by Chewy in the losing fight to get as much as possible on the board there for Post.
Yeah,
but now
that
Post
was
has to retake.
Absolutely huge. Especially considering that Multikel is going to have their Rampage here to go. So, yeah, there it goes. This could be the opening that Post University needs.
Rampage doesn't hit too much there. There's the Blizzard. Cobracade with one kill, though, but Rocker Brock very low and will fall to Moridin. Woo! Post getting a bunch of kills there, but Cobracade still at large in the back line. Chewy with the pulse bomb. Wow, and somehow, some way, Hartford holds on. And now, Chewy trying to... Oh, he can't do it. He's not going to have touch now. This is huge. Post has to touch. And they can't do it. And Daniel gets another kill on Jojo. That's not going to matter as much as the kill onto Chewy, though, because he was waiting in the wings, trying to be available to touch the point and start overtime, but wasn't able to do so.
This could be a good opportunity here for Post University. They can kind of catch Hartford during the rotation. I like the aggressive that we're seeing right now. Again, this gives a good opportunity for Chewy to find a pulse bomb as well. People just aren't really aware what's going on.
Wins the Tracer v Tracer duel that time. Now has to get some health back. But Post with a slight advantage coming into this third point. Multikel knows it, and he's pushing up. Ult goes out. Kitsune Rush goes out. Multikel falls, though. And two more kills. Make it 3 for Hartford. They're looking to close this one out right here, Juggle.
Yes, they are. Big thing to note, too, is that the Lucio has the sound barrier here, right? So Post University absolutely has to take that into account. What they might want to do is kind of try and pull that out with the Pulse Bomb, right? Sure, Pulse Bomb can be a pretty big ultimate, but if that just gets the sound barrier out of the way, arguably even bigger.
Chewy on the flank, doesn't want to use the Pulse Bomb just yet. Oh, Daniel with a kill on Vero, that's huge. But Chewy gets one back onto Lucio. There's no sound barrier. Moridin gets another one. This could be the fight for Post.
Yeah, they absolutely needed what happened right there, and it's just phenomenal, the timing for Post University, but they gotta secure the rest of these kills.
They do capture the point, but will they win the fight? That's the key. Daniel gets the kill onto Chewy. Moridin still alive on the point, though.
Crucially, they've got the Blizzard as well.
Did not have the shift available. And now Arielitos is back with the beat drop. And the Kitsune Rush from Vero goes down.
We do get the point whipped here.
Multikill with the kill onto Rocker. That could be big. Knife lands, gets a double kill. Kel is all alone. He finally gets the heals. Post recaptures.
Oh, that was a nice cleanse.
Post holding on by their fingernails right now. Moridin with Blizzard online.
A minute ago I was gonna say maybe Moridin needed to throw out that Blizzard, but now I'm glad he held it. Jojo as well. We've got a nice defensive ultimate in the bank here. Chewy's Pulse Bomb, very close.
Ooh, Pulse Bomb hits nobody from Daniel. That could be big. Kekai Sanctuary online for Jojo. Pops it. Chewy's Pulse Bomb goes out. Doesn't hit anyone either. Daniel gets one. Moridin trades one back, though.
Post University still in control here.
Blizzard to counter the Kitsune Rush. Can they get onto point in time? Only H gets one. This is it. Post has got to hold here.
To get the recall out. Nice wall there.
Oh, and that's not going to do it. Everyone on post is dead. Overtime ticking down, and that is likely going to do it. I don't think anybody will be able to touch in time for post. And Hartford will take a clean 3-0 sweep and advance to the ECAC finals. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, congratulations, Hartford. Very, very well played. And whoever you're going to go up against in the finals is really going to have their work cut out from them. Post University played phenomenal tonight. I think just at the end of the day, they were just outpaced a hair by Hartford. You know, so another day, a different, different scenario, different setting. It could have been Post University, but I think the silver lining is that Post University is going to get another match next week, right?
That's true. We will be back. Yeah, thank you, Bev Juggle. We will be back next week, same time, same channel, for the third place match. Post will be playing for our program, would be our program's first podium finish for Overwatch in the ECAC. So it would be the program's first Overwatch trophy, which would be huge. We've been competing in Overwatch since 2021. Did get third place in the NECC, but unfortunately they don't trophy out for third place in the NECC.
They don't?
No, not in our division anyways. Yeah, but but for ECAC, it's first, second, third in Division B, so we'll be competing for that program first trophy next week right here on twitch.tv/PostTVSports. 8 o'clock next week. And we've also got potentially some nationals. We definitely have some nationals competitions coming up for Rocket League. And then potentially, if Overwatch qualified in the NECC, we could have some matches on Friday as well. So next week, we'll have Rocket League National Championship Round 1 on April 22nd on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. That's going to be right here on the main channel as well. And then on Thursday, we'll have the Overwatch third place match against the loser of the other semifinal match. And then on the 24th, if Overwatch qualifies through points in the NECC, we could have round 1 of the NECC National Championship for Overwatch, which would be huge because they have never qualified for the NECC National Championship yet. So big matches coming up for the program. Also want to shout out the Rocket League team who won in a clean 4-0 sweep over Arcadia last night in the NECC Conference Championship Finals. So they'll be looking to continue their dominance through the National Championship Tournament as they're looking like they'll be the number 2 seed in that 16-team tournament. So look forward to those matches. But until then, thank you so much for supporting the teams, everybody. JuggleGod, it was a pleasure as always. Sorry we had to cut this one a bit short due to the sweep. I was hoping that we would get some more matches out tonight for the team, but thank you again as always for casting with me.
Absolutely, always a pleasure, and looking forward to next week as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night.